I was thinking earlier today, you know, we're very busy people, right? You have work, you have family, you have recreation, and everything in between, right? And at the end of the day, and perhaps some people don't necessarily have an end of the day because they work over in the night too. But we find ourselves exhausted, right? Exhausted trying to make a living, exhausted living, exhausted paying bills. We're tired, you know. And sometimes I think about the different agendas that we have in life. We have an agenda for our lives. Other people have an agenda for our lives, particularly places of work, family, you know, because they pull out of us, right? Satan has an agenda for your life, and God has an agenda for your life. And if you're not making God's agenda for your life primary, then you have an out of order life. And so my question to myself earlier was, if I get tired, if I find myself exhausted at the end of any day, have I exhausted myself for Jesus? I've exhausted myself for the family. I've exhausted myself for the job. I've exhausted myself running errands. I've exhausted myself doing everything except making God a priority. The one in which we live, we move, and we have our very being. He's the one that gave us the jobs. He's the one that gave us the children. He's the one that gave us the money to go buy the groceries. He is the one that is responsible for our existence. Yet, at the end of the day, we're exhausted, we're tired. But have I used any of my day? Not even 10% of the day. 10% of the day probably won't even get you to the point of exhaustion if you're using 10% of your day to serve the Lord in some way, shape, or fashion. But am I using any of my day to serve God? So we need to start surveying ourselves to see, why am I tired? Who am I serving? Am I serving myself? Am I serving other people? Am I even serving Satan? Because really, if you're not serving God, by default, you are serving Satan. So who are you tired for? Not of, because we'll have that conversation in a minute. I'm sick of this person. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of this, whatever. But who are you exhausted for? Who are you tired for? Am I tired because I'm serving myself? Am I tired because I'm serving everybody except the one that gives me life? So we need to survey ourselves. Monitor your free time. Monitor the time that you are busy, because sometimes we are busy unnecessarily. Sometimes we just have to step back and reprioritize to make sure, because you can't seek the kingdom of God first if he's always on the back burner, or if he's not on the burner at all. It sounds good when we say it, seek ye the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. But the reality is we're chasing all those things, but we're not necessarily chasing God. So who are you exhausted for? Start monitoring your prayer time, your devotional time to God, your time in the word. If you don't make that a priority every day, it's a strong possibility that you are not exhausted because you are chasing God. You are exhausted because you are chasing the world.